Welcome to the presentation on livestock production and management, presented by Dr. Dhaval Rao, PhD. Scholar at NDRI Karnal and team member GNP Sir classes. This session will cover various aspects of livestock management and its significance. We will begin by discussing the demographic distribution of livestock and its crucial role in the Indian economy. Livestock management involves the care and use of animals for various purposes, including food production and domestic companionship. It integrates principles of feeding, housing, and disease control to ensure optimal animal health and productivity. Animal production encompasses nutrition, fodder production, breeding, reproduction, and disease prevention. Effective management includes economic feeding, identifying better breeding stock, maintaining records, and monitoring reproductive efficiency. The welfare of livestock is governed by principles such as access to fresh water, adequate nutrition, proper housing, and regular health checks. Ensuring these conditions helps in maintaining healthy and productive animals. India holds a significant position in global livestock statistics, being the highest livestock owner and leading in the population of buffaloes, goats, and poultry. It also ranks high in sheep, ducks, and camel populations. The table shows the population growth of various livestock categories from 2012 to 2019, highlighting significant increases in goats and mutton, while pigs and donkeys have seen a decline. This slide presents the population changes in major Indian states from 2012 to 2019, with notable increases in West Bengal and Madhya Pradesh. In 2019, cattle made up the largest share of livestock in India, followed by goats and buffaloes, as shown in this pie chart. The poultry population has seen a significant increase from 2012 to 2019, with backyard poultry growing by over 45% and commercial poultry by 4.5%. India ranks first in milk production, third in egg production, and second in fish production globally, showcasing its strength in various livestock products. This bar graph illustrates the changes in cattle population across major states from 2012 to 2019, with West Bengal showing the highest increase. The pie chart displays the cattle population distribution across major states in 2019, with West Bengal leading. The buffalo population has also seen changes from 2012 to 2019, with Uttar Pradesh having the highest population, as depicted in this bar graph. This pie chart shows the buffalo population distribution in 2019, with Uttar Pradesh having the largest share. Sheep population trends from 2012 to 2019 indicate significant growth in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, as shown in this bar graph. The pie chart illustrates the sheep population distribution in 2019, with Telangana having the highest population. Goat population changes from 2012 to 2019 are highlighted in this bar graph, with Assam showing the most significant increase. The pie chart shows the goat population distribution in 2019, with Assam leading the numbers. The slide provides an overview of the population trends for pigs, camels, horses, ponies, mules, donkeys, mutton, and yak from 2012 to 2019, highlighting significant changes in each category. India's livestock population has seen significant changes over recent years. The total bovine population has increased by 1.3%, while the exotic, crossbred cattle population has grown by 27%. However, the indigenous, nondescript cattle population has declined by 8.1%. The value of output from the livestock sector has shown a steady increase over the years. Milk, meat, and eggs are the major contributors to this growth. State-wise estimates reveal varying growth rates in the production of major livestock products. Andhra Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh are among the top producers. The share of agriculture and allied sectors in the gross value added (GVA) has been fluctuating. Livestock sector's contribution remains significant. Per capita availability of milk varies significantly across states. Punjab and Haryana lead in milk availability per person. Egg availability per capita also shows considerable variation among states. Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu have the highest per capita availability. Meat availability per capita differs across states, with some states showing a decline while others have increased their per capita availability. Farmers are categorized based on the size of their operational holdings. The categories range from marginal to large farmers. Livestock distribution patterns vary according to land holdings. Marginal farmers hold the majority of livestock. Land and animal holding patterns in India show that small and marginal farmers own a significant portion of milch animals and contribute substantially to milk production. India's climate zones vary widely, affecting agricultural and livestock practices. The map highlights different climate zones across the country. India experiences a range of climates, from hot and dry to warm and humid. Each climate type has distinct characteristics affecting agriculture and livestock. The composite and temperate climates cover central and small parts of India, respectively. These regions have moderate temperatures and variable rainfall. Cold climates are found in the northern parts of India, near the Himalayas. These areas have low temperatures and high cloud cover. India is divided into several agroclimatic regions, each with unique characteristics that influence agricultural practices. The Indian Council of Agricultural Research (ICAR) has identified 15 agroclimatic regions in India, each with specific states and characteristics. Different regions in India have predominant livestock species. Cattle, buffalo, sheep, and goats are distributed according to the agroclimatic zones. Each agroclimatic region prioritizes different livestock species and products. This prioritization is based on regional needs and conditions. Livestock production systems vary across agroclimatic zones. These systems are integrated with crops, land, and agroecological zones. Solely livestock production systems are categorized based on the percentage of dry matter feed and the integration with non-livestock farming activities. Mixed farming systems involve livestock where more than 10% of the dry matter fed to animals comes from crop byproducts or stubble, or more than 10% of the total value of production comes from non-livestock farming activities. There are two main types: rain-fed mixed systems, where over 90% of non-livestock production comes from rain-fed land, and irrigated mixed farming systems, where more than 10% of non-livestock production comes from irrigated land. Specialized farming refers to farms where 50% or more of the receipts come from a single source. For instance, a specialized dairy farm primarily earns from milk, though it may also generate income from selling manure, grains, and extra fodder. Diversified farming involves generating income from multiple sources, with no single source contributing more than 50%. A farmer might keep buffaloes for milk, chickens for eggs, and also grow vegetables and cash crops. Integrated farming systems utilize byproducts or waste materials from one enterprise as input for another, aiming to increase profit. This approach maximizes profit through efficient resource utilization and is particularly beneficial for resource-poor farmers. In an intensive system, all operations are confined to one place, restricting animal movement. This system facilitates mechanization and better production control, making it suitable for poultry, pigs, and rabbits. In developed countries, dairy farming is also maintained intensively. Semi-intensive systems confine animals part of the day or night under a roof, allowing them to graze during the day. This system is suitable for dairy, goats, and sheep, with concentrate feeding done during confinement. Extensive systems keep livestock on grassland with operations in open places. This system is common in Asia, where small ruminants are reared together, often involving women and children in the process. Tethering is a significant husbandry system in humid zones, often practiced by sedentary small farmers. It can also serve as a control method alternative to fencing or housing. Sheep production systems include migrating systems managed by nomads, semi-migrating systems with short-distance movements, and sedentary systems where sheep are reared year-round near the homestead. Goat production systems in the tropics include extensive nomadic systems, which are challenging to improve due to continuous movement and lack of supplementary feeding. These systems are common in arid regions. Transhumance involves moving livestock seasonally between fixed summer and winter pastures. Women, children, and the elderly often stay in the village year-round, cultivating some crops. This system is prevalent in the Himalayan region. Sedentary systems, including nomadic and transhumance systems, are extensive for part of the year. They are suitable for areas with large pasture lands, providing grazing and browse for goats with minimal labor or capital investment. In semi-intensive systems, goats are tethered singly, ensuring they are not entangled with vegetation or other goats. It's essential to change the tethering place daily for fresh herbage and water. This method is cost-effective and efficient. Combining arable cropping with small ruminant systems is beneficial where crop production is crucial. Animals do not compete for the same land, playing a supplementary role to arable cropping. Practices include roadside grazing and cut and carry feeding. Integrating tree cropping with farming systems is common in humid and sub-humid regions, enhancing land utilization. This integration is not new but offers more complete land use. The livestock industry in India faces various challenges and prospects. Key issues include land scarcity, water management, low production of indigenous breeds, and the need for better infrastructure and extension services. To address these challenges, actions include controlling breeding, licensing for animal grazing, improving pasture management, ensuring proper credit facilities, and creating special economic zones for animal husbandry with common facilities for export potential.